Like, basically what this is a little seed cocoon. It has everything you need for seed growth. It's got this special container that makes it really easy to plant. You can just shove it right in the ground. It's got this lip on the edge that makes it so when you plant the pod, the seed is planted at the right depth in the ground. We figured that out for you and placed it in there at the right depth. A little fertilizer to get the plants started, and then a little bit of growing media inside here, soil, to help the seeds get what they need. And so all you really have to do is tear the top off, stick it in the soil, and water it. And then you just wait, and plants come, and it's really fun. This is designed for somebody who is brand new to gardening. And so, you know, Jill, we were talking about this earlier. We were saying that if you are seeing this and you go, wow, I could do that, that's free. This is for you. So let me show you how it works. You want to use a high quality potting mix when you're growing anything in containers. And so today this is a container demonstration. If you're going to go into the soil outside, I know that that's kind of hard to come by here in the city. If you're going to go in the soil outside, there's some things you can do with the garden to, we call it amend, but mix in other things into your soil to make it, break it up and make it easier for the plants to grow. There's a little bit of information in a card that you're going to get in your bag today. I won't really go into that. I'll talk about potting instead. When you go into containers, you don't want to use the soil from your backyard. You want to use something that's specially designed for containers. And these things, we've done so much testing at Miracle-Gro to figure out the right mix of components inside here to help hold the right amount of water so that you don't have to water as often, but also when you are watering, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but you can overwater your plants, and having the right stuff in there helps protect that from over and underwatering. So use the tools that we've designed to help make this process easier. You want to have a container with a hole in the bottom. That's really important. These all do. I love growing in terracotta. And I'll give you a little tip as we go along here. But any kind of container will work as long as you have a hole in the bottom. It's really important for drainage. And so you can use something that doesn't have a hole, but make sure that the plant that is inside here does have a hole. So you can use the plastic pot you get from a nursery or something, stick it in there and have a decorative thing on the outside. But every time you water it, take it back out of there and water it at the sink or water it somewhere else. When you fill your containers, I like to do it really loose. It depends how moist the mix is, and I think it's better. This stuff is fairly moist. You guys can feel this when we get done. You come up and play. I hope you guys get a little dirty today. Don't pack it in there. Just kind of loosely put it in the container, level it off on the surface. When you water it, it'll sink down a little bit. And that's the thing with terracotta, just a little helpful tip. Terracotta sucks a lot of moisture out of the soil. Terracotta needs moisture itself. If you look at this little container, if you can kind of see in the light, see how the pot itself is wet? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you gotta guard against that. The pot itself will take moisture, and so what I recommend is water the plant twice. Like you'll water it once, wait about 20 minutes, and then water it again, so that you can get the container really wet. It also helps as an indicator too. When you start to see this drying, it's usually time to water your plants again anyway. And it's hard to know when to water your plants and when not to water your plants. I recommend trial and error based on the schedule, how often you I hope it's not as often you think about it, but maybe once a week or every couple days, as often as you want to be interacting with it. But with that comes a sense of adventure, and that's what I mean about being like the official tester. If you want to get the plants lined up with your schedule, you got to be willing to fail a little bit. You got to be willing to have a sense of adventure when you come at this, and if the plants don't survive, just pop another growable in the pot and try again and water a little more often or a little less often as you go. So all you have to do, make a little hole for your pot, tear the top off. I'm going to use cilantro. This is really great in containers. Tear the top off, and everything is held in here really nicely. You can't tell that there's a seed in here. Trust me, it is. Just stick it right down on the surface like that and water it in. Like I said, twice. Water it twice. Couple tips with this. It's got that lip so that you get it at the right depth. Don't bury this thing all the way in the ground and then put soil again on top of it. If that happens, it's okay. As you're planting and you're watering, if a little soil washes over onto the top, that's okay. But we really don't want to try to bury it any deeper than this. That's part of the design of this. Water it in and then wait in the sunniest place that you have. So We like to give the plants full sun, but I know in the city that's relative. You don't always have full sun. So just do the best you can and see what grows in your space. I used to live in upstate New York. I used to live in a little town called Cortland. I don't know if you guys know Cortland State, but I used to live up there. I could grow really great basil on my window in my kitchen there. But in Ohio, I really cannot grow. It's just, I have a different facing window now, and I suck at growing basil. I can only grow it outside. It's disappointing because I love basil in my cocktails, and it's really hard in the winter. I'm like jonesing for some basil. You can buy it, but I hate buying it because it's so easy to grow yourself and it's cheap. Cheaper to do it that way. So anyway, my point is every growing condition is different, and you got to do trial and error at your new growing spot to figure out what works. Because what worked at this place might not work at the next place. It may have not worked at the last place. So anyway, in the spirit of fun, have fun. Enjoy it. I'll be around to answer any questions.
I'm going to plant Miracle-Gro Gro-ables with a baby in my arms. That's how easy it is. Right? Terracotta pot with a hole in the bottom.
Yeah, they'll get to the end of that and they just turn and keep coming back in.
Load it with dirt.
Don't do that for this. It's like this is even there.
Use cilantro.
I don't believe it. Work that. So did it work for Miracle-Gro shop? So it would go right through it. Our kind of liaison between the agency. It's special.
Done.
It's like it's a special.
That's it?
Would send us
That's it?
50, 75. Are we talking about what's in it? These things, I had